Thanks so much. It's very nice.
Not at all.
Please, come and sit down. Buckingham Palace.
Sorry to be waiting. We're
Buckingham Palace recently released a statement that has sent shockwaves around the world. Though it was only 4 sentences long, those words changed everything. They didn't reveal the full truth. What the palace shared was merely the surface, a carefully constructed message designed to inform without exposing the reality behind the walls. The true story, unfolding behind closed doors at this very moment, is far more devastating than anyone outside could imagine. Doctors have been coming and going through the private entrances, and Prince William has not been seen publicly in 72 hours, ever since the situation reached a point where it could no longer be hidden. The announcement made just minutes ago was only the beginning. What is really happening now is both shocking and heartbreaking. In the 48 hours leading up to it, William attended what palace records listed as a routine medical checkup, standard quarterly appointment for senior royals to maintain their health. Princess Kate drove him herself that morning, breaking their usual security protocol, though they barely spoke during the drive, each consumed by private worries. Upon arriving at the central London facility, through a rear entrance to avoid photographers, the 90-minute appointment stretched to 4 hours, hinting at the gravity of what was occurring inside. William underwent a series of tests that went far beyond routine screenings, blood work, imaging scans, and neurological assessments, confirming what his doctors had feared but had been secretly hoping was wrong. When the lead physician finally sat down with William and Catherine to discuss the results, his expression said everything before he spoke a single word. The news was devastating, worse than anything they could have imagined. William remained perfectly still as the doctor spoke, his hands gripping together, so tightly that Catherine later worried he might break his own fingers. The medical terminology washed over him. Unfamiliar words whose weight he felt crushing his chest, degenerative and progressive, cutting through the jargon and sinking into his consciousness like stones. Catherine wept silently beside him, struggling to maintain composure, while William finally asked, "How long?" The doctor hesitated. Progress varied between patients, he explained. With treatment, symptoms might be managed for years, but if the disease progressed aggressively, the timeline could be much shorter. They left the medical facility through the same back entrance, moving like ghosts through corridors that suddenly felt too bright and loud. Catherine drove them home, though she later could not remember the journey, while William stared out the window, seeing London's ordinary lives unfold in stark contrast to the unbearable distance he felt. At Adelaide Cottage, they sat in the car for 20 minutes before going inside, neither ready to face their children or pretend that anything was normal. That evening, they said nothing to anyone, even their closest friends or staff, merely going through the motions of family life, homework, bedtime stories. Catherine noticed every subtle change. How William held each child a little longer, how his voice caught when telling Louis he loved him, how he lingered in Charlotte's doorway after she fell asleep, silently watching her breathe. The next morning brought another crisis. Kate's own health, which she had been managing privately with specialists, suddenly worsened. She awoke in severe pain, gasping and reaching for William before she was fully conscious. Trembling, he immediately called her doctors, wondering how such cruelty could strike one of the world's most influential families, feeling the weight of a universe that seemed almost unbearably unjust. Within the hour, Catherine's doctors arrived at their home and conducted immediate examinations and tests, avoiding hospital visits that could attract media attention. The results confirmed Catherine's worst fears. Her condition had progressed more rapidly than expected, making treatment urgent and decisions unavoidable, decisions that would affect not only her health, but her ability to fulfill royal duties, care for her children, and continue the life she had built over years. William, still reeling from his own diagnosis just 24 hours earlier, found himself in an impossible position, drowning in waves of crisis with no time to breathe. Palace officials needed to be informed, and King Charles had to be told. Yet William felt paralyzed, unable to move forward without fully accepting the devastating realities before him. By the afternoon, an emergency meeting was convened in the most secure room at Kensington Palace, bringing together senior palace advisors and medical consultants. 12 people sworn to absolute secrecy, each about to bear knowledge that would haunt them for years. William presented both medical situations with calm, clinical precision, revealing only the facts as the room absorbed the enormity of the crises in stunned silence. One longtime advisor wept quietly, another, the Associate Chief Communications Officer, looked physically ill, and King Charles, arriving midway, sat with bowed head and trembling shoulders, powerless to intervene. The meeting stretched 6 hours, during which medical experts explained treatments and prognoses, legal advisors addressed succession questions, and every possible scenario was meticulously considered. By its conclusion, a tentative plan had been formed, providing time to begin treatments, prepare the children, and confront a future irrevocably changed. At precisely 10 a.m., a carefully crafted statement was released across all official royal channels, timed for maximum global coverage and to avoid conflicting news cycles, revealing everything and nothing at once. Palace staff outside the inner circle learned of it alongside the public, many gasping aloud at the words on their screens, unaware of the deeper turmoil hidden behind the official announcement. His statement read, "The Prince and Princess of Wales are facing serious health challenges that require their immediate and full attention. Prince William has made the difficult decision to step back from official duties for an indefinite period to focus on family and medical matters. The royal family asks for privacy during this time and will provide updates as appropriate." For sentences. That was all the world received. Details about the nature of the health challenges. No explanation for why both William and Kate were affected, and no timeline for when William might return to duties. Within minutes, the internet exploded. Social media platforms lit up with speculation, concern, and wild theories, and the hashtag about William began trending globally within 3 minutes. Every major news organization interrupted regular programming to report the development. Inside Kensington Palace, William and Kate watched the initial reaction from their sitting room, having turned off phone notifications to avoid the relentless flood of messages from worried friends and family. Catherine sat curled in a chair, exhausted by both the past 2 days and the physical toll of her condition, while William stood by the window, observing the increased security presence now deemed necessary. Their 3 children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, had been kept home from school, sensing the tension in their parents and remaining unusually quiet and cooperative. That afternoon, William and Kate planned to tell their children artfully, selectively, enough for them to understand that their lives were about to change, though not the full truth. The thought terrified both parents more than any medical diagnosis or public scrutiny. How do you tell your children that everything they have known as normal could be ending soon, that their father is sick, their mother may be too, and that no one can promise everything will be okay? King Charles arrived just before noon, traveling from Windsor immediately after the statement went public. He embraced his son in a long, tight hug that conveyed everything words could not, then pulled back to study William's face, searching for answers that would only bring more pain. William led his father to the study, where for the next hour he laid out every detail of both diagnoses, every medical opinion, and every terrifying possibility they now faced, while Charles listened in silence, occasionally covering his face with his hands, overwhelmed by the enormity of what he was hearing. When William finished explaining, there was a long, heavy silence. Finally, Charles spoke, his voice thick with emotion. "What do you need from me?" "Anything. Everything I have, everything I am, all of it is yours. Tell me what you need, and it is done." William appreciated his father's willingness, but he knew that no amount of resources could cure degenerative illness or turn back time. "What I need," he said, "is time with my family and privacy to handle this without the world watching every moment. And I need to know that if things get worse, if I cannot fulfill my role as heir, you will protect my children." Charles nodded, fully understanding the weight of his son's request. "Your children will always be protected. No matter what happens, they are my priority after you." A small release of tension flowed through William, tiny easing of the crushing anxiety that had gripped him for days, knowing his father would safeguard his children if the worst occurred. The afternoon brought more challenges as Kate's medical team began the first round of an aggressive treatment protocol. The regimen would leave her violently ill for several days, confine her to bed, and drain her strength, but it was intended to slow the progression of her condition and buy her precious time. William held her hand through the fore-insertion and watched the medication flow into her veins, her grip so tight it hurt, wishing he could trade places to spare her the suffering. But illness offers no bargains, and all he could do was be present, bearing witness while keeping himself from falling apart. Evening arrived, bringing the dreaded conversation with their children. William and Kate gathered George, Charlotte, and Louis in the living room, creating a safe, calm space despite their own terror. William began carefully. "You know, Mommy and Daddy have been having some health appointments lately. The doctors have told us some things that mean our lives are going to change for a while. We are both going to need treatment and rest, which means we will be home much more and not doing as many royal events. George, more aware than his siblings, asked bluntly, "Are you dying, Dad?" The honesty of the question hit William like a punch, but he chose his words with care. Everyone dies eventually, but that is not what is happening now. We are only getting help to manage being sick. Some days will be harder than others, but we are going to fight as hard as we can to be here for you for a very long time. Charlotte cried, struggling to understand, but sensing her parents were in trouble, while Louis trembled in Catherine's lap as she held him despite her own exhaustion. For over an hour, William and Kate answered questions honestly, while shielding their children from the full weight of adult fears, ensuring the kids understood that routines would change, their parents needed rest, and that they would be spending more time together at home. It was not the whole truth, but it was enough for now. When the children finally went to bed, William and Kate collapsed onto their sofa, leaning on each other in exhausted silence. Two people facing impossible challenges with no roadmap, no guarantees, but the statement had been released and the children had been told. However, something even darker was about to be revealed by Prince William's secret he had kept from everyone, including Catherine. What the statement did not say, what Catherine did not fully understand, was that William's condition was far worse than he had admitted to anyone. During his initial consultation, doctors had given him two options: begin aggressive treatment immediately with surgeries, harsh medications, and a grueling schedule that would leave him incapacitated for months or decline treatment, focus on palliative care, and accept that his time was limited while preserving quality of life for as long as possible. But William chose a third option, one the doctors had not formally presented: an experimental protocol being developed at a research facility in Switzerland. Early trials showed promise, but the risks were extreme, and even the best outcome would grant him only a few extra years, not a cure. His doctors strongly advised against it, insisting the dangers outweighed any potential benefit. But William fixated on the possibility of more time with his children. He told no one ot Catherine, not his father, not a single advisor. Privately, he contacted the Swiss facility, discussed his case, and began arranging travel within the next month, planning to tell everyone he simply needed rest and privacy. In reality, he would undergo high-risk procedures requiring him to sign extensive legal waivers, acknowledging he might not survive. The guilt of hiding this from Kate weighed heavily on him. They had vowed complete honesty when they married, but this felt different. She was battling her own worsening condition, fighting through her own brutal treatment, and he could not bring himself to burden her with the knowledge that he planned to disappear for dangerous experimental procedures. He told himself he would confess when she was stronger, though he knew deep down he was lying to himself. His reasoning was painfully logical. If the treatment worked even partially, he would gain precious years with his family ears otherwise already lost. Yes, the treatment might fail or even hasten his death, but dying while fighting for more time felt more bearable than accepting the bleak timeline his doctors had given. He thought of George, destined to be king and in need of his father's guidance. He thought of Charlotte's coming teenage years, milestones he longed to witness, and he thought of Louis, still so young that the idea of leaving him behind felt like a wound he could not accept. William wanted nothing more than to witness Charlotte's milestones, and to ensure Louis, still so young, would remember him clearly if his decline happened as quickly as doctors feared. The Swiss facility had given him a start date 4 weeks away, giving him 1 month to stabilize Catherine, help the children adjust, and put everything in order at home before leaving under the guise of needing rest and intensive therapy. The facility agreed to total confidentiality over visitors, no communication beyond brief updates, simply confirming he was alive while he underwent dangerous, experimental procedures. Palace officials, informed only that William was stepping back from duties, assumed he would remain at Adelaide Cottage attending London appointments. If the treatment failed, and he never returned from Switzerland, at least he would have tried everything. Meanwhile, Catherine noticed his distraction, the way he drifted off in conversations, but attributed it to stress and fear. One evening, a week after the public statement, she asked whether he was telling her everything, and William, looking into her eyes, answered that he was, something she believed because he had never given her a reason not to. But Charles, perceptive in ways that often surprised people, sensed something deeper was wrong. During a private visit, he confronted William, insisting he recognized the look his son wore when determined to do something others would try to stop. William could not lie to his father's face, and confessed everything: the experimental treatment, the risks, the secrecy. Charles listened and asked only one devastating question. If you die doing this, how do I explain to your wife and children why you weren't here when you could have been? William had no answer, though the question haunted him. Still, his resolve held, and Charles, recognizing the futility of arguing, demanded only one promise: that William would tell Catherine before he left. Reluctantly, William agreed. 10 days before his scheduled departure, crushed by the weight of secrecy, he decided he could wait no longer. After the children were asleep and the house quiet, he asked Catherine to sit with him. She immediately sensed something serious, her expression shifting to concern. Taking her cold hands in his, William admitted he had not been fully honest about his treatment plans. Catherine went pale but listened silently, gripping his hands as he revealed everything. Shock, hurt, anger, and fear washed over her face in rapid succession. When he finished, a suffocating silence filled the room. Catherine stood, pulled her hands away, and walked to the window, facing away from him as she processed the truth he had withheld. When she finally turned, the look on her face shattered him. You were going to disappear for months to undergo treatment that could kill you, she said quietly, every word a wound. And you were going to lie about where you were. Did you think about me at all? What it would do to me to lose you while believing you were just away resting? William stood, aching to hold her but respecting her space, and whispered, Of course I thought about you. I think about you constantly, William said, gripping Catherine's hands. That is why I am doing this, so have more time with you and our children. The treatment is risky, but it is the only real hope I have of beating the timeline doctors gave me. Catherine laughed bitterly. And if you die during the treatment? If I get a phone call from Switzerland telling me you're gone, and I never got to say goodbye because you lied? Did you think about that? Her anger and hurt spilled out in ways William had never experienced. She accused him of selfishness, of making unilateral decisions, of treating her as if she could not handle the truth. William defended himself, insisting he was trying to protect her and give them a better future. Yet he knew she was right. Fear and desperation, not partnership, had driven his choice. They shouted until exhaustion overtook them, exposing raw wounds buried beneath years of shared life. Eventually, grief replaced anger, and Catherine sank onto the couch, sobbing violently. I cannot lose you. I cannot do this without you. And you are asking me to let you go do something that might take you away forever. How is that fair? How is that love? William sat beside her, pulling her into his arms as his tears fell into her hair. It is not fair. Nothing about this is fair. But I am so scared of dying and leaving you all that I am willing to risk everything for a chance at more time. They cried together in the darkness while the children slept upstairs. Eventually, Catherine pulled back, wiped her eyes, and spoke with determined clarity. I want to talk to your doctors in Switzerland. I need to understand the treatment, the real odds. I will not make this decision based on fear or desperation. I need facts. William nodded, grateful for her analytical mind amidst the chaos. Okay, we'll call them tomorrow. You ask whatever you need, and then we decide together. 3 weeks into treatment, everything changed. William had endured procedures pushing his body to its limits, oscillating between hope and despair, while Catherine had held their home together, breaking down privately each night. Calls were brief but vital lifelines. William assured her he was managing, omitting the unbearable pain, the days he could barely move, the moments he questioned his choice. Then came the call that changed everything OT from him, but from the facility's head physician. Catherine's heart stopped at the unfamiliar number, convinced it carried death, but the words that followed were different. Your husband is alive, but we need you to come to Switzerland immediately. There has been a development. In a blur of hours, she arranged emergency childcare, booked a private flight, and arrived to find William thinner and exhausted, yet alive and conscious. She collapsed into a chair beside him, overwhelmed by relief and residual fear. He reached for her hand, weak but steady. I told you I would come home, he whispered. Catherine laughed through tears. You're not home, yet you're in a hospital bed in Switzerland, looking like you've been through a war. The point is, William smiled faintly, it worked. I am going to have time. Time to watch our children grow. Time to grow old with you. She leaned down and kissed him, tasting salt, antiseptic, and hope. You scared me so badly, she said. So badly. I know. I am sorry. But I would do it again. I would risk everything again for this outcome. Finally cleared to return home, William's journey was orchestrated to maintain the fiction he had been at Balmoral. He arrived at Adelaide Cottage under cover of darkness to find his children waiting, eager and unaware of how thin and careful he now had to be. George studied him closely. "Were you actually better?" William knelt to his son's level. "I am better now. Not fully, but so much better than before. And I am home." Privately, William and Catherine knew the truth. His condition was improved but not cured. The future remained uncertain. Catherine's treatment progressed in parallel, and their shared journey through illness deepened a bond that transcended what they had known before. They cherished ordinary moments, a pain-free morning, a day with energy to play with the children, a quiet evening without crisis. Months passed, and William gradually returned to public duties, appearing at select events where he could engage fully. The public noticed a difference. He listened, connected, and seemed genuinely present. Facing mortality had stripped away pretense, leaving him honest, vulnerable, and human. He maintained the promise of the videos he had recorded before Switzerland, messages of survival, second chances, and gratitude. One day, George, Charlotte, and Louis would understand the full story of their parents' fight, the lengths they had gone to protect and love them. For now, the recordings remained a private time capsule, a testament to endurance, hope, and the unwavering strength of family.